A very warm welcome to everyone. Today we are going to
start a new chapter, chapter number 2, India Physical Features. And in this chapter, we will understand the meaning and the movement of the tectonic plates. As you know, there are three basic layers of the earth. These are crust, mantle, and core that I told you in the earlier classes. So crust in the uppermost part of the mantle makes up the lithosphere. Lithosphere is the rigid outermost shell of the earth. It's like a shell over the earth. And this lithosphere is not continuous, means it is broken in the blocks, and earth crust is fragmented in these blocks, and these large blocks or fragments of the crust are called tectonic plates or lithospheric plates. Can be large, means these are the characteristics of the lithospheric plates. These can be large, they can be small. These tectonic plates are rigid and they are irregular in size, means their size is not fixed. They can be bigger, they can be smaller, right? So just below the lithosphere, approximately 80 to 200 kilometers in depth from the surface, right, rocks are in semi-molten or semi-molten state. This is the uppermost part of the mantle. This layer is known as the asthenosphere. So what is asthenosphere? Asthenosphere is below the lithosphere, and this is a semi-molten state. This layer is in the semi-molten state, and these lithosphere plates move over the asthenosphere. So these tectonic plates are not stagnant. These plates are in continuous motion. So if I ask you that what are the characteristics, then characteristics are that these tectonic plates can be small, can be large. Their size are not fixed. They are rigid and they float over the asthenosphere. They are not stagnant, and they move around few centimeters, few millimeters in relation to each other by every year. German geologist Alfred Wegener, who is known as the father of the plate tectonics, this explanation of the plates and the movement of the plates is the part of the Wegener's theory of the continental drift. He revealed his ideas, means his theory, in the book The Origins of the Continents and the Oceans, which was published in 1915. This we will understand and discuss later. So according to it, there are 7 major plates and around 21 minor plates, which are continuously in motion. Let's see what are those 7 plates. Number 1 is Eurasian plate, number 2 is Pacific plate, number 3 is North American plate, number 4 is South American plate, number 5 is African plate, number 6 is Indo-Australian plate, and number 7 is Antarctic plate. Right, so these are the 7 major plates. Now it's time to understand about the movement of the plates. So the plate boundaries are the edges where two plates meet. Basically, the edges of the plates are called boundaries, and plate boundaries are the edges where two plates meet together. And most of the geological activities like volcanic formation, volcanic eruption, earthquakes, mountain building, new fold mountains, block mountains, these all occur on the plate boundaries, on the edges of the plates. There can be 3 types of relative movement in the plate boundaries. Now we are going to understand the movement of the plates. Number 1 is convergent boundary. So what is convergent boundary? When plates come towards each other, you can see that when two plates come towards each other, this movement is known as convergent movement, and this forms convergent boundaries. So when two plates come together, they may either collide, they may crumble, or they may slide under each other. For example, Himalayan mountains, which are young fold mountains, are created by convergent movement, right? Convergent boundaries. These are formed due to the convergent movement between the Indian and Australian plates. This process began around 50 million years ago. So some of the other examples of this convergent movement and the formation, some other examples are Alps in the Europe and Appalachian in the USA. These mountain ranges are formed due to the convergent movement, right? Next one is the divergent movement. So what is divergent movement? When two plates move away from each other. This is divergent movement. As divergent begins, the valley can be formed, linear lakes are formed, sometimes sea like Red Sea is formed due to the divergent movement. Sometimes oceans can also be formed, like Atlantic Ocean was formed due to the divergent movement. So the last one, tectonic movement, tectonic plate movement is a transform movement, or this forms transform boundaries. When tectonic plates move horizontally or parallel to each other, it is called transform boundary. Transform movement or transform boundaries can cause earthquakes, like there's a famous fault in Turkey, that is North Anatolian fault, which is located on the transform boundary. In 1999, here 17,000 people died due to the earthquake, and this earthquake was caused by transform movement. So basically there are three types of boundaries: convergent, divergent, or transform and transform. So these are the three types of movement in the tectonic plates. So here we have completed the meaning and the movement of the tectonic plates.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel. See you in the next video.